All right, welcome to another deep dive. This time, we're going to dig into some marketing strategies for all you entrepreneurs out there. Really give your business a boost. We're using this awesome guide called Effective Marketing Strategies for Entrepreneurs.
I really like this guide because, sometimes we get caught up in like the latest trends, right? But this one takes us back to the basics, stuff that's like so important but easy to overlook.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. And I see this guide starts right off the bat talking about understanding your audience. Like, okay, that sounds good in theory, but what does that actually look like day to day, when you're actually running a business?
So imagine, like, okay, let's say you're launching this new line of organic baby food. You wouldn't, just throw out some message hoping it reaches everyone, right?
Right.
You really got to know who you're talking to.
Right, because like a new parent who's all about that organic stuff is going to be way different than someone who just wants the easiest option.
All right. Yeah, totally. That's what this guide is all about. Like it actually dives into stuff like market research,
Yeah.
even creating these super detailed profiles of your ideal customer. So it's like you know their needs, their behaviors, why they choose one thing over another.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like getting into their heads almost instead of just guessing.
Exactly. It's like
Oh.
it's not just about knowing their age or where they live. It's more about understanding their psychology. Way more powerful than just like yelling into the void.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. That's a good way to put it. So, like, what are some tools or things people can actually do to figure this stuff out?
Well, surveys are super helpful. Asking your current customers what they already love, what they struggle with, what they wish was different. It's gold, pure gold.
Makes sense. You're getting it straight from the source, right?
Exactly. Then there's, all that data from your website, social
Mhm.
media. It can tell you so much about how people are interacting with your brand. And honestly, don't underestimate just plain observing. What are the trends? What are your competitors up to? Even just listening to conversations online. You pick up a lot.
Okay, so you're like a detective piecing it all together. I'm starting to get the picture now. So it's like you're building this like almost like a character sketch of your ideal customer.
Exactly. And once you have that, you can speak directly to them, in your marketing. It's like having a conversation, not just a lecture.
Okay, I'm liking this. So we've nailed down who we're talking to. Now the guide moves on to building a strong brand identity. I'm guessing there's more to it than just a cool logo.
Oh, yeah, way more.
Yeah.
Think about like the giants,
Mm.
Apple, Nike. They have a whole personality, values, and they stick to them. Like it's in their visuals, their messages, even how they treat their customers. It's all connected.
Right. You see that Apple logo and you know exactly what they're about. Sleek design, innovation. It's even a lifestyle.
Exactly. That's the magic of a strong brand. It's more than just the product. It's a feeling, an emotion. And this guide actually walks you through how to build that.
Okay, so where do we even start? I mean, is it all about the logo and the tagline?
Well, those are definitely important pieces of the puzzle, but like this guide talks about creating a unique value proposition.
Yeah.
Basically, what makes you, stand out from the crowd? Why should someone choose you? And then making sure that message is everywhere, your website, your social media, even on your packaging. It's got to be consistent.
That reminds me of this awesome coffee shop I love. They're all about sustainability and community. Their beans are ethically sourced. They use those compostable cups. They even have a community bulletin board. Can you believe it?
Perfect example. They've
Yeah.
created a whole experience, not just selling coffee, right?
Yeah.
And it matches their values perfectly. And that's what people connect with. It's real.
That's so true. Okay, we've got our audience. We're building our brand. What's next? This guide jumps into digital marketing, which can feel like a jungle sometimes.
Yeah, it can be overwhelming. But this guide breaks it down into pieces. It talks about social media, content marketing, email marketing, and SEO. That's search engine optimization.
Let's unpack those a bit. Like, say I'm that organic baby food entrepreneur we talked about earlier. How could I use those things?
Okay, so social media would be huge. You could show cute babies loving your food, share recipes, tips for parents. You could connect with mommy bloggers, parenting groups. You can even run ads targeted at new parents in specific places.
So you're meeting your customer where they already are online.
Exactly. Content marketing is awesome too. Think blog posts, articles, maybe even videos, like
Huh.
about baby nutrition, healthy recipes, even tips for those picky eaters. It makes you the expert, builds trust, and attracts the right people.
So you're giving them value even before they buy anything. Love it. What about email marketing? Is that still a thing?
Big time. Building an email list lets you stay connected, share special stuff, and build those relationships over time. Imagine like a weekly newsletter with new baby food recipes, tips for introducing solids, maybe even a discount for subscribers. Powerful stuff.
Okay, that makes a lot of sense. So we've got social media for engagement, content for authority, and email for building relationships. Now, what was that SEO thing again?
Oh, right, SEO. That's all about making sure your website pops up when people search for stuff related to your business. So like if someone Googles best organic baby food, you want your website right there at the top of the results.
Oh, okay. So it's like making sure people can actually find you online.
Exactly.
Eh,
It's a bit of a science, but this guide lays out the main strategies. Using the right keywords on your website, making sure it's structured well, and getting links from other good websites.
Got it. So it's about making it easy for search engines and humans to find you. Okay, so we covered a lot here. Knowing your audience, building your brand, navigating that whole digital marketing world. Where do we go from here?
Well, this guide goes even deeper. It talks about influencer marketing, partnering with people who have a big online presence. And then it gets into the whole customer experience, using data to make smart marketing decisions, and even the power of good old-fashioned networking.
Wow, we've just scratched the surface. This guide's got it all.
It really does. It's like a full toolkit to level up your business.
Okay. Welcome back to the deep dive. We're picking up where we left off with effective marketing strategies for entrepreneurs. And, this next part really grabbed my attention, this whole influencer marketing thing.
Yeah, it's definitely, it's been a game changer. I mean, think about it. These influencers, they've already built trust with their audience. So if they recommend something, it just feels more, I don't know, authentic.
Totally. It's like a friend telling you about something they love. Way more believable than some random ad, right?
Exactly, exactly. And the key is finding those influencers who really truly match your brand and whose audience like overlaps with your target market. It's got to be a good fit.
Let's go back to our organic baby food example. Who would be a good fit there, do you think?
Okay, well, think about like those parenting bloggers who are, really into healthy eating, or maybe like some family-oriented YouTube channels. Those are huge. Oh, or even like those Instagram accounts that had these gorgeous photos of like healthy meals for kids.
Yeah, yeah. It's not just about how many followers they have, right? It's got to be someone who really connects with their audience.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Like this guide really stresses that. Authenticity is key. You want someone who actually uses and believes in your product, so their recommendation really means something to their followers.
It's more like a partnership then, huh? You're both working together to reach the same people.
And that's where the fun starts. You can do sponsored posts, product reviews, giveaways. You can even create content together. There are so many ways to get creative and integrate your brand into their world.
Okay, so this all sounds amazing, but how do you even know if it's working? Like, how do you measure success with influencer marketing?
Good question. This guide actually talks about like specific things to track: website traffic, engagement on social media, and of course, ultimately, you want to see those sales go up. You got to make sure it's worth the investment.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
It's like any other marketing strategy, you got to see the results. So speaking of results, this guide shifts gears and talks about something I think we all sometimes forget, the actual customer experience.
Yeah, sometimes it's easy to get lost in all the marketing stuff, but it really is the foundation, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can track people with amazing marketing, but if their experience with your brand is bad, they won't stick around.
Right. One bad review can spread like wildfire these days.
Tell me about it.
Ugh.
But happy customers, they're more likely to buy again and tell their friends. They become like walking billboards for you.
So how do we create those amazing experiences? Where do we even begin?
This guide has some great tips. Like it talks about top-notch customer service, responding quickly, resolving problems smoothly. That kind of thing makes a big difference. Oh, and personalization, like using data to figure out what your customers like and then, tailoring your interactions with them makes them feel special.
Yeah, like remembering their birthday or suggesting things based on what they've bought before. It's those little things that make you feel like a valued customer, not just a number.
Exactly. It's those little touches that can turn someone into a die-hard fan. And this guide also talks about the importance of actually asking for feedback. What do they love? What could be better? And then actually listening and making changes based on what they say.
So it's a two-way street. You're always learning from your customers and making things better. That makes sense. So this kind of leads us to another part of marketing this guy talks about. Data-driven marketing.
Yeah, data. Not the most exciting word, I know.
Hmm.
Sometimes it can feel a little, I don't know, cold and impersonal.
Yeah, that's how I feel about it. But maybe there's a better way to think about it.
Absolutely. Think of data as like this X-ray vision into what your customers are actually doing.
Hmm.
It helps you see what's working and what's not.
Okay, that's a much better way to look at it. So, can you give me an example of how this data stuff actually benefits the customer?
Okay, imagine you have an online store, right? And you notice tons of people adding a specific product to their cart, but then they leave before checking out. Data can help you figure out why. Maybe shipping is too expensive, or maybe the checkout process is confusing. Once you know the problem, you can fix it and make things better for everyone.
So, it's about using data to make smarter decisions, both for your business and for your customers. Got it.
Exactly. This guide actually walks you through specific tools and techniques, things like website analytics, A/B testing, even analyzing social media engagement. There's a lot you can do.
Sounds like there's a lot to learn, but it's worth it if it means happier customers and a more successful business.
Totally worth it. And don't forget the human side of things, too. This guide also has a whole section on networking and building partnerships.
Ugh, networking. I have to admit, that's not my favorite thing. I'm not exactly a social butterfly.
I hear you. But networking doesn't have to be scary. Just think of it as building relationships with people who get you, who have similar interests and goals.
So, how do we even start with that? Do we have to go to those big industry events and hand out business cards? I'm not sure I'm ready for that.
Those can be helpful, but it's really about finding what works for you. Maybe join an online group for entrepreneurs in your niche, or attend a local workshop, or even just strike up a conversation with someone at a coffee shop.
So, it's about being open to those connections, finding common ground.
Exactly. You never know what can come from it. Maybe a collaboration, a mentorship, even just a good piece of advice. It's all valuable.
Okay, I'm starting to see the value in putting myself out there a bit more. Now, this guide also talks about something else that makes me a little nervous: paid advertising.
I get it. Nobody wants to waste money on ads that don't work.
Yeah.
But this guide is all about being strategic. Like when you do it right, paid advertising can be really effective.
So it's not just about creating a flashy ad and hoping for the best?
Nope. It's about knowing your audience, choosing the right platforms, and crafting messages that speak to them directly.
It makes me think of those ads I see on social media. They're sometimes so specific to me, it's almost creepy.
Uh-huh. Right. That's the power of data and targeting. Platforms like Facebook and Google, they let you reach really specific people based on demographics and interests. So you're showing your ads to the people who are most likely to be interested.
Okay, so it's about being smart and intentional with your ad spending.
Exactly. And this guide gives you tons of practical advice on things like setting budgets, writing good ad copy, and tracking your results to make sure you're getting a return on your investment.
Okay, I'm feeling a little less intimidated by paid advertising now. Maybe it's not as scary as I thought.
It's all about learning and experimenting. Speaking of which, this guide also dives into something else that might seem a little daunting at first: video marketing.
It feels like everyone and their grandma is making videos these days.
For good reason. Video is super engaging. It's a great way to connect with your audience on a deeper level, you know?
I get it, but creating videos can feel like a huge project. Where do you even begin?
Don't worry, this guide breaks it down into simple steps. It talks about different types of videos you can make, like product demos, behind-the-scenes stuff, customer testimonials. You could even do educational content related to your industry.
Going back to our baby food example, I can imagine a series of videos showing parents how to make quick and easy meals with those products.
You getting it?
Yeah.
And you could even partner with those mommy bloggers or food influencers we talked about earlier to create even more awesome content.
I'm starting to see how all these different pieces of the puzzle fit together,
Yeah.
They all work together to create this whole brand experience.
That's the beauty of it. It's not about choosing just one strategy. It's about finding the right mix for you and your audience.
Okay, so we covered a ton in this section: influencer marketing, customer experience, data-driven decisions, networking, paid advertising, and even video marketing. I'm feeling a little overwhelmed, but in a good way.
It's a lot, I know. But this guy does such a good job of making it all seem doable, you know? It's like a roadmap to success.
All right, welcome back to the deep dive. As we wrap up our look at effective marketing strategies for entrepreneurs, I'm kind of curious, what really stood out to you in this guide? What resonated?
You know, for me, it's got to be the emphasis on being adaptable. The marketing world, it's like constantly changing. What worked yesterday might not work tomorrow, you know?
Yeah, it's true. It's not like you can just set it and forget it, right? You got to be
Yeah.
willing to try new things, look at the data, make changes as you go.
This guide really hits that point home, staying curious, keeping up with trends, embracing new tech as it pops up. It's all important.
It's funny, it makes me think of this friend of mine. She runs a vintage clothing store. She was so hesitant about social media at first, but then she tried TikTok, can you believe it? And her business blew up, found a whole new audience.
That's awesome. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Sometimes you got to step outside that comfort zone and just see what happens. But it's not just about chasing the latest thing, you know? It's about understanding the core principles of marketing and getting creative with them.
So it's like a blend of timeless wisdom and those cutting-edge tactics. Let's do a quick recap of what we covered, kind of bring it all together.
We started with knowing your audience, right? Like really knowing them. It's not just about age or where they live. It's deeper than that.
Right, it's about motivations, their pain points, what they're aiming for. This guide is all about building a relationship, not just blasting out messages to anyone and everyone. Market research, those customer profiles, using data to make decisions. It all matters. And once you've got that figured out, then you can start building a brand that speaks to those people. That's where your logo, your tagline, your messaging, even your customer service, it all comes into play. It's got to be a cohesive experience.
Exactly. And then we jumped into the wild world of digital marketing, right? Using social media, creating good content, building that email list.
Yeah.
And we can't forget SEO, making sure people can actually find you online when they're searching for what you offer.
Right, right. And then there's that whole influencer marketing thing, which can be really powerful if you find the right people, those people who genuinely connect with your audience and can introduce your brand to new folks.
And authenticity is key there, right?
Yeah.
Finding those influencers who truly match your values, that's important.
Totally. Oh, and we talked about how crucial that customer experience is. Great customer service, personalized interactions, really understanding what your customers need and want. It all adds up.
Yeah, it's all connected. And we talked about data-driven marketing, using those analytics to see what's working, making smart choices, and getting better results.
And of course, networking, building those relationships with other entrepreneurs, mentors, people who can help you grow. You never know what might come from those connections.
Exactly. And we even touched on paid advertising and video marketing. Those can be really powerful tools too.
So I guess like taking a step back and looking at everything we talked about, what's like one thing you're feeling inspired to try in your own business?
Ooh, that's a good one. I think for me, it's that data-driven approach. I tend to rely on my gut a lot, but I'm realizing how powerful it can be to actually track things, analyze the data, and make decisions based on that.
That's awesome. Data can be such a game changer when you use it right. Well, this has been an incredible deep dive. I feel like I have a whole new understanding of marketing now and a ton of new things to try.
It's a journey, right?
Yeah.
Marketing is all about learning, adapting, and figuring out what works for you.
So true. Well, thanks for joining us on this deep dive into effective marketing strategies for entrepreneurs. Hopefully you got some new ideas brewing and you're feeling inspired to take your